And we welcome you into Wild Wing Cafe here in Spartanburg, where it's time for Inside Wofford basketball with head coach Mike Young. How are you, Coach?
Fantastic, Marcus. Very
good. Well, that makes
good to be back with you.
Yeah, and
Happy New Year, buddy.
It's Happy New Year to you. It's good to be home, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, is it ever? Yeah, it is. Been on that long, lonely road for quite some time. It's nice to be back at Spartanburg.
All right. It was a trip for the Terriers for the ages, 33 days away from home. You go win at Xavier. You go win at Jacksonville. You have a couple of tough runs against some pretty good teams in Virginia and Tulane. But you made some comments on the post-game show the other night following the Tulane game that you like the fact that your guys who are so young and have been away from home so much have battled and given you the effort you're looking for.
Yeah, I say that same thing tonight, 48 hours later or however long it's been since the Tulane game. That's hard, Mark. We don't make excuses around our place, and we tell our team we got to get through hard, and we've got to get through being sad when things don't go well. We got to come back the next day and go to work and get better. So we're not going to belabor the schedule and the difficult trail that it's been from the start November 12th. But between the two of us and Terrier fans, when you consider going to Boulder and Richmond, Virginia, and Athens, Ohio, and Wilmington, North Carolina, and all points in between, it's been difficult. 14 games, 3 of them at home, 10 on the road, 1 neutral site. There are a lot of teams out there that would have worse records than the Terriers have right now. To be very honest with you, Mark, I feel pretty darn fortunate to be where we are with the opportunity to move on from here and have a great year. It could have been a lot worse.
Right.
It could have been a lot worse. To go to Jacksonville and win, they're 2-1 in their league, the Atlantic Sun. The win at Xavier. Xavier's going to win a lot of games in the Atlantic 10. I think we're pretty good. I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we're in a pretty good position to move along from here and put some things together and start stacking some wins.
And the Terriers get back to work tomorrow night. Yeah. Conference play. Appalachian State will come in, and from here on out, nothing but conference games.
Yeah, 'tis the season, and Southern Conference play, and things are ratcheted up a bit, and talented Appalachian team. But it's nice to get back. Enough of the unfamiliarity of non-league and playing people one time to get back to your home base. We've got 9 at home, 8 on the road, playing teams that we're familiar with. Conversely, they're familiar with us. It's our league, and we're looking forward to getting it kicked off at home tonight against a very capable Appalachian State team.
Wofford at home tomorrow evening against App State. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off at the Ben Johnson Arena, 6:45 airtime here on the Wofford IMG Sports Network. We'll take a timeout here on Inside Wofford Basketball with Coach Young. When we come back, we'll talk about what the team's been through as of late. We'll look at some of the games the Terriers have played, and then later in the show, we'll look ahead to what's coming this week with home games against App and then Georgia Southern on Saturday. This is Inside Wofford Basketball. I guess the win that really stood out for you was the victory at Cincinnati against Xavier, a team that plays so well at home, and you go in there and come away with a 1-point victory.
There were some, records that I was unaware of that I heard about after the game. 47-1 in A10 play over the last 6 years. Their non-conference home record was just incredible over that same period. Had I known those records going in, we may not have made that trip. We had them beat up there 3 years ago, as you know.
Yes.
2 years ago. And to go back, Chris Mack is a friend and was very complimentary before the game. He wasn't in such a spirited mood after the game. But that's the game, and we played really well. And Taylor Wagner and Carl Cochran was really good. Just one of those games where our point guard play was very good. We defended them very well. I think we held X under 40% from the field. And I told you after the game, I still feel this way because of the history of their program. I think the most significant win that we have had in out-of-league play in my time at Wofford, and a real feather in this team's cap.
And you go back to the end of the Xavier game, they have the ball down one with about 5 seconds left, and Kristen, their very fine freshman guard, is driving up the floor. Not only did Carl Cochran block his shot, but more importantly, Spencer Collins, just a freshman, took a charge on that play. And if it's called the other way, they go to the line with a chance to win the game, and he hung in there.
Somebody shared something with me not long ago, and I forget who it was, but, it's such a bang-bang play, and so many things can happen in that situation. I go back to our first year together, 2002, at Virginia Tech. Dear friend, great official Mike Stewart calls a charge at VPI. Adrian Borders takes a charge. We win the game. That call could have gone the other way. Somebody pointed out to me, and it was right. I didn't see Spencer take the charge. There's a mass of people around him. I do remember Cochran going into the air and blocking a shot. And somebody made the comment, Mike, it could have been that they call a block on Spencer and a goaltend on Carl. And boy, that would have been tough. But Eric Anderson, really talented official, made the right call from what I understand. I have yet to see it.
You've yet to see it.
I've yet to see it. Xavier's film guy was watching the game, so he kept the camera on our end of the floor. I have never seen the play, but we all know that Spencer took the charge, and what a man's charge that was. Samaje, I can't pronounce his first name.
Yeah.
Christian is a animal. He is a big, strong, although a freshman, a big, strong athlete. And for Spencer to stand in there in that setting was a great play for Wofford.
Coach, let's talk about some of the guys who have been developing, et cetera. And the first one I want to talk about is Indiana Faithful. The numbers are kind of crazy. I think it's over his last 5 or 6 now. It's 24 assists and 6 or maybe even 5 turnovers, which is just a tremendous ratio.
That's what those are the numbers our Wofford point guards are supposed to have.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of him. It was like a confidence issue early on, and for what reason, I don't know. I think the sit-out year really affected him. I think it bothered him, and he came in, and he had some indecision, and do I belong at this level, and not sure that I can do this and do that. And I think there came a time when he said, I'm going to lay my hair back and go play. And play he has, and has really solidified that spot for us. He's playing really well. And he hasn't scored it great over the last couple, but I think now that we're into league play, he's got a big, strong body mark. I mean, you know that.
Yeah, 6'4".
He is a wonderful fella, and he's played great. That's not too strong a word. He's played great over the last 6 games, and feel good about him going into these 17 league games.
And it's interesting, you brought up the fact that he had to sit out a year, and for folks who are new to Wofford basketball, he didn't get to play last year. No fault of his own, no fault of the program. Just one of those weird NCAA quirks, and he had to deal with that. I mean, you as a program, you and your coaches had to deal with it as a program, but sometimes people forget that the young man himself has to go through that process too.
Yeah, absolutely, and lose the year. I mean, that's harsh. I mean, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
And Losing filed a lawsuit against the college today because I played him 40 minutes a game the entire year.
Yeah.
Because Indiana was on the shelf because of the NCAA ruling. I don't think we can measure the difficulty it is in taking essentially 18 months off when you consider the end of his prep year at St. Thomas More and the start of this year.
Right.
In November 2012, when he finally suits up against the lowly Buffaloes of Colorado, at Coors Arena in front of 15,000 people. That's you're talking about thrown to the wolves. That's being thrown to the wolves, and that kid has hung in there and has found much needed confidence, and he's playing great basketball for our team.
One more question about Indy. He's given you 3.5 points, but we talked about the assist being the big deal. He was the all-time leading scorer in Maine high school basketball history. So when he's on and we start to see him maybe morph into a scorer, is he an outside guy? Is he a drive it to the basket guy?
Uses his length and his frame to get fouled more. I want to see him get fouled more. I don't think he's been to the line in quite some time. Medium range. Use a ball screen. Get to the SoCon. The lettering in the middle of the floor, which is a big part of our floor, and we want to keep the ball out of there defensively, and we want the ball there offensively. See him driving it to the middle of the floor and getting fouled and pitching to teammates. When he's doing that, he'll take it to another level offensively, and certainly think he's capable.
Want to talk also about Spencer Collins. Had 3 straight 17-point games. Now he tailed off against Tulane, but he also got dinged up. First of all, I know he banged his knee against Tulane. Has he been all right?
Sat out yesterday. I was a little nervous about him. I didn't say much to him. A little nervous about him, but he came back today like he was shot out of a cannon, and they were kind of busting his tail a little bit about missing practice, and said just needed today to get his feet under him, and he was really good today. He looked healthy, and he'll be in the lineup tomorrow, 100% ready to go. Looked a little spooked. He looked a little disheveled on Sunday. My days are running together, yeah. Mark. Friday against Tulane. For whatever reason, he wasn't himself. He's been so good to this point. As a freshman and averaging 11 a game, I believe, if not a little bit more. He's got a really nice feel on how to get open and make shots. Those 3 games, you think, we weren't playing Little Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah. 17
at Jacksonville, 17 at X, 17 at UVA, where he was really, really good, I thought. Bodes well for this Terrier team, and certainly for the future. When you consider Bird and Cochran and Spence at 2-3 spot over the next couple of years, that's pretty exciting.
He was such a great scorer in high school at Easley. When you recruited him, did you recruit him as a guy who would come to the gym every night thinking, all right, I've got to go into the game with a scorer's mentality?
I did. You just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. You hope. I saw him score 44 points against Mark Huff's team at Gaffney, and if you do that, against that Division I, the big-time football wideout, and the kid that moved to Chicago, those two kids were on that floor, and Collins scored 44 points, and they could not keep him in front of them to save their life. You score 44 points against the Indians on the reservation. That's about all the confirmation I need, and we went after him, full blast, and we got lucky to get him. He's pretty darn good now. He's going to get a lot better when he gets bigger and stronger.
All right, we've got one more segment with the coach. Welcome back to the program. We are at Wild Wing Cafe inside Wofford basketball with head coach Mike Young. Coach, let's go ahead and look ahead to what's coming up this week. Appalachian tomorrow, then Georgia Southern on Saturday. A couple of home games. In fact, you're entering a stretch where you're going to play them fast and furious. Tuesday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. That's a bunch of games in a quick period there.
It just makes no sense to me at all.
Really?
It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you're talking about almost a fourth of your league schedule in 10 days.
Right.
There's got to be a better way. I don't know what that is. You're trying to cram 18 games into 2 months, but that's what we're faced with. And 2 at home. Gosh, Mark, it'll be nice to play at the house for. I didn't know it'd been 33 days.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But to get App State in here tomorrow, seen them a lot on tape here the last couple of days. We know how talented they are. A lot of returning guys: Mike Neal, Tab Hamilton, Jay Canny, Xavier transfers, playing very well for them. I'll tell you who's playing really well for them is Nathan Healy.
Yeah.
Senior, been around a long time, played a lot of basketball. He's averaging 13 and a half a game, and he's put together a very nice year to this point. And got some size in the post with Occam and Obaka, and probably the number one. His name slips me.
That would be Tevin Baskin.
Baskin is a junior college kid who's played pretty well for them. I think if you go back and look, pardon me, has averaged 15 a game over the last 4. So he's given them real lift here of late.
What should make it interesting tomorrow night looking at App? Wofford is averaging scoring 59. You're giving up 59. They're averaging 73. They're giving up 74. So it sounds like they want to maybe try to speed things up a little, while Wofford tends to want to keep things under the lid.
And they're good at it.
Yeah.
They're good at bigger possession games where that doesn't quite fit into our plans and how we want it to play out. So a test of wills and a test of, how we want the game to be played. We'll have to be very sharp and savvy with shot selection and ball handling and how we handle some of the things that they'll throw at us. And Coach Capel's doing a nice job with his team, and I really like the things that they do offensively. And they're getting good shots from the guys they want taking them. It'll be a big test for our defense.
We've heard a lot about Jay Canty. You brought up his name, a redshirt sophomore who transferred in from Xavier.
Yeah.
Had to sit out a year. What kind of a player is he?
Hard driver, can make it. He wants to drive it. He wants to get to the basket and use his athleticism and his big, strong body to bang around on you. Gets fouled a lot. He's a really talented scorer. And, Spencer Collins, Jarrell Bird, our team will have to do a nice job on Jay Canny. Jay Canny to this point has played very well for their team.
And then on Saturday night, Georgia Southern comes in. Charlton Young, I think now in his 4th year down there, and traditionally they like to speed up the tempo if they get the chance.
Boy, do they ever. You know what's interesting about this Georgia Southern team, and I have not, well, I take that back. I saw them maybe 5 minutes against Charlotte, and possibly the first game of the year. I was just on an NBC affiliate channel, and I saw it and watched it a little bit. I don't know why, but their numbers are way down. Points per game, the shooting percentages, and that strikes me as odd because we know their talent and we know what they're capable of with Eric Ferguson. C.J. Reed, a Central Florida transfer whose dad's on the staff down there. Marvin Bainham, not a great scorer, but he's a really good player, and they've got other kids that can play. Hewitt is back and playing very well. So let's take care of Appalachian State, and then we'll figure out the Eagles as we move forward.
If you could impart to one thing, especially to your freshmen, that maybe is a little bit different about conference play as opposed to what they've experienced to this point, what would it be?
Well, familiarity. Appalachian State is going to make it difficult for us to run what we run because Appalachian State has guarded it before, guarded it twice last year. They've seen it. This is... when you talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference and the Pac-10, the Southern Conference and the Atlantic 10, there's a little more at stake, a little more on the line, and there's a lot of pride involved. And, those guys come in there tomorrow night, and there's a game to be played, and we want to take their face off and vice versa. And, it's that time of year. It's January. It's time to play, and enough of the non-conference stuff, and it's time to get it on, and our team's looking forward to it.